Hey YouTube, this is Dustin here, and I wanted to show you guys a neat tool that I used to purchase about $1 million worth of product on eBay for resale in 2013 and make a ton of money. Before I get started and show you that, in case anyone uh, was questioning, purchasing $1 million in 2013, I brought up here and had PayPal account open and to download an annual financial summary, and I had that downloaded, and as you can see here, transfers and withdrawals from my PayPal account for 2013, $822,625.65. Actual total amount was $966. That might have accounted for some refunds or a couple other items. So $966 worth of purchases in 2013, and that's it. And they even took a couple months off from that as well, or it could have, met or exceeded that. And this is something that I just didn't do in 2013. It's something I've been doing since 2010. Purchasing about this volume every year. Unfortunately, PayPal's report will only go back about 2 years to pull that up, so I just did a 1 year on 2013. But without waiting any further, I'll go to the application and show it to you. To start off, it's not going to look like the prettiest application, but the cosmetics of this application are not what do it justice. It's all the little features that none of the other softwares out there really have. This is a custom application that we built in-house, and it is an eBay compatible application. It's been checked by eBay and their team to make sure it follows all of their policies, developer requirements. To start off, you'd come in, and of course you need a keyword. I was doing cell phones here today, just these 4 models, these other 2 not doing today. You'd enter them in, and you'd come down to the bottom and you'd put in a internal name, the keyword, the threads, how aggressive you want the system to search, which we'll get into in a later video on how that is one of the biggest keys into searching, is the frequency that you're calling out. We'd put in a price floor and a price ceiling, say US only, and save the term. Of course, since these were already set up before, in case I didn't have any price differences or wanted to not purchase one of those for the day, most everything would already be set up. I put in, for the cell phone category, I brought in the item specifics for that category to populate the user interface, put in zip code and some terms, and we hit start. And when they're newly found, they're going to show up in green. When they're sold, they show up in red. And just to give everybody a little bit of knowledge in case they weren't aware of it, a lot of times when people are getting on eBay and they say, well, I want to be able to make some money on eBay. How do I do that? How do I purchase items for resale somewhere else? Maybe to Craigslist, maybe locally to my friends, or maybe right back onto eBay itself. And everyone really talks about sniping programs and auction snipers, and those are a good way to get items on eBay, but over the years they've become a little bit less competitive, or they've become more competitive. And while most of the time you are going to be able to outbid or be able to have the opportunity to place your bid before, say, an end user who's not using any sniping software, the number of auction snipers in certain categories, popular categories such as cell phones or ink toners or laptops or tablets, there's just so many of them now that it's very tough. You are eliminating some of your competition, but the ones that really matter and are willing to bid pretty competitive money and get them in volume, there's a lot of them these days. And the real deals are found on newly listed buy it now items. There's very few software applications out there for it, and to my knowledge, there's not really anything out there for anyone purchasing in volume. I searched for months and months, and maybe even about a year, trying to find something out there, thinking I was just typing in the wrong search term or something. There wasn't really anything out there, so that's when we started to develop this software. This one that I have up, it already sold right before I was starting the video. But as you can see, this one right here had a iPhone 5 for AT&T. It had about a $45 margin on it. You know, spend $240, get make $45 on it. That's not a bad profit. But as you can see over here on the sold time, from the time this system found it to the time that it was sold, meaning someone had completed it in checkout all the way through the PayPal process, was 28 seconds. You know, so a lot of times, I think one or two of the largest reasons why you don't hear anyone talking about buy it now listings is because most of the time people don't even see them. You know, if I had the browser up for that one item, even auto refreshing the page, I might not have even have seen it on the page. It would have been already completely checked out for off eBay system before your average everyday user is even going to see that listing. 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen. You know, I was lucky enough here that I would have bought this one. I had 28 seconds. Having 28 seconds on my side to purchase something is an eternity. You know, it's the ones that are 10 seconds, 15 seconds shorter that you have to act on really fast that can get quite complicated. Oh, there's a get a little bit tied up into it, but I won't let it delay the video. Again, some of the features are going to be, you know, bar none compared to what else is out there. You can customize the different columns per different categories that you're searching for, allowing for you to search for through different main categories. You can customize the interface by including or decluding those fields. You can move them around on the screen. My rule of thumb is I like to kind of work from upper left hand of the screen in a diagonal way down. It's just the way my eyes tend to scan best, take a quick snapshot to make a decision. And you know, I'll when a new one pops up, I'll look at it briefly, make sure it's the model I'm trying to identify and the carrier. But one of the cool features, and really the backbone when I really started to purchase a lot of items, was when we were pulling in information for many models. As you can imagine, trying to purchase 30 different items, and each one of those 30 different cell phones having a different condition. You might be willing to buy it broken with a cracked screen, fully functional. You'd have to remember 100 different prices. That's just impossible. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't buy it for resale if you could input it somewhere ahead of time for the day and just be recalling on your document. But then you'd have to have it on an external document and whatnot. This program allows you to take it one step further and create that information in a Google Doc price list, put in the URL here, and say for this item it matched that it was an iPhone 5 for AT&T, and down here in the orange you can see it brought in everything that was an iPhone 5 for the carrier AT&T in my price list and told me what I could purchase it for. That really helps. So you just have to adjust it once at the beginning of the day. You can customize these options here as well. If working horizontal doesn't work best for you, you can click on the picture. It'll make it larger and then go back. You can make the text smaller or larger depending on your needs. You can set a sound alert down here and set the tone. You can have it pop up if it's minimized. As you can see, since the video's been started, it's searched about 6,000 times to eBay as well. That's just a brief introduction to this application, and I'll follow up in a couple other videos, but it's a great way to make a lot of money in 2013.